Who's the champ of foolish fame? Let's crown the buffoon of the week by name. Comic crown and a goofy streak. The title goes to our champ this week.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else in between classes, back in session. Welcome back to Buffoonology 101. Gene Baradelli and Ross Galloway here with you. How you doing, my man?
I'm feeling pretty good tonight.
I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with the results of last week's polls. I don't know. But it looks like you did pretty good. I don't want to oversell it or undersell it, so I'm just going to give the straight facts here. The winner from last week's poll is indeed Ross Galloway. That makes it 3 in a row for Ross. 82 votes tallied, so it was a little bit of a lighter vote week, but my man dominated, getting over 75% of the voting population. 3-1. He put up a number on me, folks, and I'm smarting from the loss. So hats off to you. Congratulations. You are now within one of my lead.
First of all, Gene, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. And I want you. So last week was Hunter Biden was my pick, and you went with George Santos of all people. Can we just get this out in the open right now? Was that the biggest blowout in the show's history, percentage-wise?
Close to it. I think there was a bigger one. I think there was a time early on where I broke the 80% barrier. You know what? I'll look it up and I will edit the video to see who had the greatest vote margin right here. And now that we've done that, you know the answer to it. But listen, it was a wide margin. Let's not sugarcoat it. I got my ass handed to me, and I was even acknowledging during the show that you made the better pick. So congratulations.
And let's
not overplay the hand, though. Just don't overplay the hand.
You know me. I got to go over the top. So I'm just going to say this. Hunter Biden, my pick, never spent a day in jail, while George Santos is rotting for the next 7 years in a federal prison. The people have spoken, Gene, and they agree with me. George Santos is a good guy. Free George Santos.
See, now you're overplaying your hand. Okay, first of all, in the whole time we've been doing this, you haven't had the lead once. Okay? We're going into our 14th battle between us? Haven't even tied. So calm down. Don't overplay your hand. You're doing good. You learned the rules really well, and I'm proud of you. That being said, George Santos is exactly where he should be. Don't think I didn't see during Behind Enemy Lines your little headline there with hashtag Free George Santos. I know this is what you like to needle about, but you know what? It's a losing cause, pal. And you're backing a loser like George Santos, so, whatever.
And you didn't take the bait, so I'll give you that.
And listen, I don't back. I backed him for Buffoon of the Week. You're backing him in real life. Let's just leave it at that. But of course, listen, it's all good-natured ribbing here on Buffoonology 101, where we not only turn political buffoonery into an observable science, but we encourage you all to participate in telling us who you think was the dumbest newsmaker of the week. It's a little bit of a game show. It's a little bit of an education. There's some actual knowledge dropped on this show, heaven forbid. There's a whole lot to this, and that's why we had to set some ground rules for this wacky thing we're doing called Buffoonology 101. Before the show, Ross and I have each selected our nominee to present to you for Buffoon of the Week. Each host will have 5 minutes to make their case to you as to why their nominee should earn your vote. The first 2 minutes will be uninterrupted by the other host, but after that, it's a free-for-all between the two discussing the nomination. The opposing host will then evaluate the nominee based on the criteria set forth in my award-winning best-selling book, Schnooks, Crooks, Lies, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores.
This guy is a grifter!
The nominee will then be given a score for buffoonish nature and buffoonish action magnitude on our Sharpton Buffoonery Matrix, but more on that later. After that, we do it all over again for the other nominee. After all the nominees have been weighed and measured, Each host will then have 1 minute to plead and beg for your vote for Buffoon of the Week. You'll get to vote online in the comments and on social media and at buffoonoftheweek.com. Vote early and vote often. No one's going to be counting whether you voted more than once. And now, back to the action. So those are the rules, and one of the rules that we developed during the course of this experiment that we're doing here is decide that whoever wins the previous week decides how this week's show is going to go as far as who goes first, who goes last. You are still in control, Ross Galloway. I think I know the answer because it's been the same answer every week, but just say it for the newbies who have found us for the first time.
How many points do I need, Gene? 1 to tie it?
You're behind by 1. As you see on the screen, I am up 7-6. This possibly could tie it. It's a very important round this week. Are you going first or are you going second?
I need 1 point. I'm calling it now. I'm getting the next 2. Give me the ball, Gene. I'm going first.
All right. So that means you will have 5 minutes to discuss your nominee and why he should win. And I look forward to seeing this because, honestly, I'm feeling really good about my pick. And I think you're underestimating me. You're riding high. You're up on your high horse. And it's time to maybe smack you down a little bit.
Get your clock ready, Gene. It's about to be on. All right. My pick this week, Gene, is Democratic Congressman from California, Eric Swalwell. And it's not because he had a relationship with a Chinese spy named Fang Fang. It's not because he got booted from his post on the House Intel Committee or none of that stuff. It's not even because he's now calling for the Epstein files to be released, which I actually agree with him on that, right? I do. But he never really did that over the 4 years before when Joe Biden was president. It's actually because of videos like this. Go ahead and play my first clip, please.
I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather. I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol. I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather stand up for Donald Trump than release the Epstein files and stand up for victims. We could be at Washington, D.C., lowering your healthcare costs, lowering your grocery costs, and restoring your rights. I should be working right now. Instead, I'm pumping iron at the gym.
They did such a great job of lowering our grocery costs when the Democrats controlled everything and restoring our rights. Like, who's this guy kidding? He's getting roasted because he's lifting 135 pounds on a weight bench. I'm old and I can still do that. By the way, who does this, Gene? That camera angle is very strange. I don't know how he rigged it up, right? It's quite embarrassing. And I'm not sure if this is what the Democrats think are going to get male voters back, but it's not. He then went on to post on X a challenge to Greg Gutfeld of Fox News to a bench press contest, I guess. Put up that post if you don't mind. And he promises to actually leave his job if Greg beats him. Now, Gutfeld, if you're watching us, please take on the challenge. By the way, Greg Gutfeld is 60 years old. Eric Swalwell is 44. So he's challenging a 60-year-old man to a bench press contest. I think Greg can beat him, and I hope he takes him up on it, to be honest. On the bright side, at least in that video, he kept his shirt on, right? You know what, though? Play this next clip, Gene.
I should be working right now. I should be in Congress. I should be voting to lower your costs. But instead, I'm in a pool because Republicans sent everyone home because they don't want to release the Epstein files. We could be working to lower your costs, make sure healthcare is affordable, and make sure we're restoring the rights of everyone in our community. I should be working right now.
Just wow. First of all, it's a summer recess. I also think that they should be working right now. He's in the minority in the House. It wouldn't really matter. But don't you find it odd, Gene, that he has time to make these corny videos? He doesn't need to perform any constituent services while he's back in his district. He doesn't need to worry about his next election. This guy is a clown. He's clearly a buffoon. But meanwhile, George Santos is rotting away in jail. Give it to Gene again this week, folks.
Got nothing to do with nothing.
Vote. Give the people what they want.
It's got nothing to do with nothing. What are you doing?
Give it to Gene again and vote for Swalwell.
You know what? No. See, that's not the reason to vote for Swalwell. I do have some questions, though. Was that you straddling Swalwell with the camera above him with the weights?
I mean, I'm trying to picture it, Gene. How did he hang that camera? Who was doing that?
There's got to be someone, because if you notice, they cut it off at his midsection. You don't even get to see really his waist or anything. I think someone's straddling the bench and hovering a phone over him. There's no one spotting him, by the way, which, given the way he looks, even though it is only 135 pounds, although that bar might be lighter for all we know, and for all we know, he is from California, those could be fake weights for all we know. They could be styrofoam. I don't know what's going on there, but what was the point of it? Does he not think that constituent services and being in the community and talking to voters, that's not work?
Exactly. That's the whole point of sending them back home. And Gene, this is one of the more cringy videos as of late. I know you have a banger of a nominee coming with some cringe factor too.
Oh, you better believe my nominee is a freaking banger this week. Not this little piddly shit nonsense you got going on with Swalwell. Thank you for acknowledging that my nominee is going to be better than your nominee. But go ahead, continue.
No, I didn't say all that. I said that I know there's some cringe factor there too. Even you have to admit, Mr. Burdelli, those two videos were pretty damn cringy.
Oh, they're definitely cringy. There's no doubt about that. Swalwell is one of the dumber members of Congress. He should be a backbencher, but he's not a backbencher. I certainly agree with that, but this is just a more out of touch, tone deaf nonsense. If this is supposed to be the masculinity that they're spending $20 million on at the DNC to try to find, I think they need to keep searching.
And he's a true man of the people in his private pool and private gym. You know, before the show, Gene was like, you sure you want to play both those videos? He says the same exact thing in both. Yeah, I did want to play them both because it's cringy the first time you see it. It's even worse the second time you hear it in a different setting.
Well, to be fair, he's making the muscles in the first one and he's showing them off in the second one. My God. Go ahead, finish it up.
No, I'm good, man. To be honest, you hit the nail on the head a little earlier when you said he doesn't consider a real job to go and to conduct constituent service or even raise money, right? Democrats, wake up. This is what your politicians think of you. You're fools. They are rich. They don't care about lowering costs. He's got his private pool and private gym in his house. He don't care about you. And he damn sure don't care about the Epstein files, by the way. If he did, he would have been ringing that bell for the last 4 years.
All right. I will note that you went about 15 seconds over, and that's okay. I'll just reserve 15 seconds for myself if I need it. But right now, the burden is on me to take Ross's nominee and score him in order to give you some perspective on the type of buffoonery that you're seeing here and the magnitude of the buffoonery, as well as examining the personal nature of Eric Swalwell himself. And for that, you need to learn about our Sharpton Buffoonery Matrix, which will give us the buns and the bams. Let's talk buns.
My buns!
No, not those. And definitely not those. I'm talking about our personal buffoonish nature. A decade of collective observations has shown that everyone, to some degree, has a bun. You, me, everybody. The size of their buns is directly related to a buffoon's propensity to do stupid things.
Look at the size of that thing.
And then there's bam, 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 buffoonish action magnitude. That's our measurement of how big a whoopsie a buffoon made. The bigger the mistake, the greater the magnitude. We then plug these values into our Sharpton Buffoonery Matrix, named for the alpha and omega of buffoonery, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
which is our visual representation of a buffoon's bum to bam ratio. And here's the best part. After we tally up the worst offenders, you decide. You get to cast your vote, share your thoughts, and you determine who earns the dubious distinction of Buffoon of the Week, which we'll record as the weeks go by. So this is what happens when you end up with a 3-match winning streak. You end up going for the low-hanging fruit in order to preserve that streak. Everyone knows Eric Swalwell is a buffoon. In other news, water is wet, sky is blue, grass is green. This is someone that is well known to all of us. If anything, from the interviews that he had with Tucker Carlson on Fox News that exposed him originally, up through this whole, as you mentioned, the Fang Fang affair and the controversy there, where he basically allowed a Chinese spy to slide into his life, and I'm being generous, I think, in phrasing it that way. And occasionally he makes a little bit of internet news with his tweeting, with his stupidity. Challenging Greg Gutfeld to a weightlifting contest is weak sauce for him. And these videos are entertaining for us, but he wants you to take them seriously. He is, like I say in the book, a BS buffoon. He is overly confident in his abilities, but when it comes to measuring up, he's a lightweight, as you saw with the lifting there. So what do you do when you have a buffoon that you know is a buffoon, is consistently a buffoon, has an occasional spike in buffoonery, and how do you end up scoring them? Well, I think the answer is you start with the buffoonish nature, the bun. And for Eric Swalwell, he has a sizable bun. It's not as significant as you would say like an Elizabeth Warren, who does some more serious buffoonery, or an Andrew Cuomo in that ilk, but it's a sizable bun nonetheless. In honor of Fang Fang, I believe that his bun is a 69. I knew that would pop you. So, good. I'm glad I got the reaction I wanted. As far as by the way, do you think that's fair?
I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's relatively an inconsequential member of Congress, right? We could agree there, I think.
Yes, but he's actually entertaining in the fact that he's stupid, and that's why I think the lower rankings of buffoonery is 4. As far as the BAM goes, I've been going back and forth on this. Is this what we call Sharpton-esque? By the way, Sharpton-esque is a measurement, according to the great Dr. Emmett Brown of Back to the Future fame, of 1.21 gigasharptons. I think in debating this back and forth, it falls right on that line. 1.21 gigasharptons is where this falls for me. It's pretty buffoonish because there are a succession of actions. There's 2 videos and a tweet. And when you add it all together, it gets to that Sharpton-esque level. But it is unserious. It is a distraction, a waste of time from someone who's trying to make a serious point about working in Congress, but forgetting that part of working in Congress is working at home too. So a 69 for the bum and 1.21 gigasharptons for the BAM. What do you think there, pal?
I think that's about right, because reaching Sharpton-esque status is a big deal. All right. And, I think the amount, he was so disingenuous in those videos that I think he reached at least the threshold. Beyond that, we got to reserve that for people who do worse things. So I agree.
And worse as in not something we can laugh off. This is just bad. But I think we can laugh off Eric Swalwell for being just one of those distracting buffoons that you just, smack down every now and then.
Exactly, because Al Sharpton mastered being cringy, but also there's real repercussions to some of the things Fat Al and then Skinny Al later on were running around doing, right? There's really no repercussion to Swalwell being a jackass.
Before we get to my buffoon nominee, just a quick word from our friends at Freedom Chat. Freedom Chat is the next generation of messaging apps. They are all about 2 things: your freedom of speech and your right to privacy. We've been using Freedom Chat for a couple of weeks now. We have our own channel on there where you can subscribe. So basically you download the app and then you find Buffoon of the Week on the app. You click on it, you subscribe to us just like you would any other social media platform, and you get exclusive content from us, including behind the scenes clips, maybe a preview of a release before everyone else, or a post clip where we react to what we just did. And I'm having a lot of fun using Freedom Chat and interacting with everybody, pal.
I'm having a blast. And for those of you guys listening now, I would get on there, join our channel. Gene and I are really seriously thinking about posting some videos of us bench pressing and set them to self-destruct in about 24 hours. So get in there and see it before it disappears.
I love that you bring up the self-destruct function. Folks, Freedom Chat is not like any other messaging app. There's no tracking of personal information. There's no screenshots. There's no linked devices. And most importantly, you control your own information from your own device. If you want to delete a post, you delete it and it deletes for everybody. You want to send a message to, like Ross said, self-destruct? They have a function that does that too. You are in control at Freedom Chat. So I encourage everybody, download Freedom Chat. It's for free. It's available on iPhone and Android. You can do it from freedomchat.com or from wherever you download your apps, whatever store you use. So check them out. Freedom Chat, the next generation messaging app that actually keeps your conversations private. I admit, I have a bit of an advantage when it comes to identifying political buffoons. After all, I wrote the book about it. I get that. Within this book, Schnooks, Crooks, Liars, and Scoundrels, a field guide to identifying political buffoons, that's available right now on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and other online bookstores.
This guy is a grifter.
There is a chapter in here talking about Buffoonicus Incredulus, the hot mess. And who is the poster child of the hot mess? Well, it happens to be my nominee for Buffoon of the Week this week. His name is Senator Spartacus himself. It's T-Bone's best friend, Senator Cory Booker. Instead of telling you about Cory Booker's buffoonery, I'd rather just show you. This is from the Senate floor this week, discussing about a bill concerning police funding where Cory Booker went Cory Booker.
The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. I see law firms bending a knee to this president, not caring about the larger principles, that those free speech rights, that you could take on any client, why are you bending the knee? I see universities that should be bastions of free speech bending at the knee to this president. I see businesses taking late-night talk show hosts off the air because they dare to insult a president. I see people who want mergers suddenly think that they have to pay tribute to this president. And what are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way and pass some resources that won't go to Connecticut, that won't go to Illinois, that won't go to New York, that will go to the states he likes. That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats to have a backbone. It's time for us to fight. It's time for us to draw lines. And when it comes to the safety of my state being denied these grants, that's why I'm standing here. Don't question my integrity. Don't question my motives. I'm standing for Jersey. I am standing for my police officers. I'm standing for the Constitution, and I'm standing for what's right. And dear God, if you want to come at me that way, you're going to have to take it up with me, because there's too much on the line right now in America. As people's due process rights and freedom of the speech rights and secret police are running around this country, picking people up off the streets who have a legal right to be here. There's too much going on in this country. When are we going to stand together for principles that I just heard that we're agreed with? When are we going to stand together? If we don't stand as Democrats, we deserve to lose. But if we stand united, if we stand strong, if we stand with other people, if we tell with a chorus of conviction in America what this president is doing is wrong, If we stand up and speak that way, dear God, we will win. Like all of those people that are our ancestors who joined hands together and said, we shall overcome.
I have a lot to say about Cory Booker, but as you can see, Booker went Booker. First of all, Cory Booker and I apparently we're on the same diet now. Good for him. He seems to be wearing it well. Bending a knee to Trump. All these people are bending a knee to Trump. They're capitulating to Trump. Is he upset at what's going on, really? Or is he more upset about losing? Because that's what's going on here. This is a loser that is complaining about losing constantly. They lost an election to Donald Trump, so I guess the American people capitulated to him and then bent the knee to him. He's been losing on policies because Trump's been winning on getting things passed. Just utter trash from this man. Holding up legislation to yell at Democrats for not standing up like their ancestors. Pulling a race card, talking about ancestors. Typical quintessential hot mess. That's why he's in the book. Secret police, just all the threats to democracy and privacy and First Amendment and all this stuff that's not actually really happening. This guy's got it all here. Clearly a buffoon.
First of all, Gene, bend the knee to Trump. You're damn right. Trump for king, baby. He knows it. Let's make it happen. By the way, there's nobody really in that room. That he knows they don't pan out. He's like yelling to an empty chamber. Most of those guys are probably not even there. And then he had the nerve, Gene, to say, don't question my motives or my integrity.
How dare you?
Questioning your sanity. Like, what is going on there?
Well, in his defense, this was clearly his I am Spartacus moment. He didn't say it this time, but Cory Booker loves to be the martyr. He loves to be the guy who is the first one through the door. And as we all know from Star Wars, if you're the first one through the door, you're going to get shot first. The man has lost it. We've seen some pretty unhinged things from him, making up T-Bone to make himself seem more sympathetic in Hood. The I am Spartacus moment during the Kavanaugh hearing, where he was ready to break the rules, but unfortunately the Republicans actually allowed him to do what he wanted to do before he even made his speech. And now I wish he had his binky and his blankie during this tantrum, which is really what this was, a tantrum that was holding up the business of the Senate in funding law enforcement. Now, listen, law enforcement can be good or bad, but clearly this was a waste of time for everyone involved.
And unhinged is the best way to say it. And for those of you guys who've been around for a while, he got his start as the mayor of Newark. In 2012, there's articles about this. He claimed that he ran into a burning building and saved a woman, and that's what catapulted him into like the darling of New Jersey. I question that story after seeing this. This guy's completely unhinged, and I don't believe a word of it, to tell you the truth.
The man is an attention whore. Is the best way to put it. He wants everybody to look at him. He wants to not talk about the facts, talking about secret police and bending knees and all this. He makes appeals to emotion. And because his followers and supporters are emotional beings and don't care about reason, that's why they love him. It's buffoonish tactics. He is the quintessential hot mess of a human being. And while he didn't make a video about it, being on the Senate floor and acting a fool merits him being buffoon of the week. And I'm not going to even take that extra time.
He needs help, Gene. He needs help. He has a mental health issue, clearly.
Well, maybe you can give him some help when you score my nominee.
All right. Well played, Gene. That was some cringy video. And you did a good job. You know, I hearkened back to when he was crying during the SCOTUS confirmation hearings of Ketanji Brown. All right, this guy's a real clown. And, you know, I was looking at the matrix we have, and we may actually have to do a Cory Booker adjustment after I give these scores here, because I got to tell you, he has a good body of work, man. As far as a buffoonish nature, I'm putting him at a 73. He's like in a healthy part of the pack with a bunch of people who have extensive bodies of work. And like I said, we may have to revisit the Matrix eventually, just to readjust some people that are sitting in that same range that probably don't belong there after watching a beautiful video like the one you just played.
I tend to agree that an addition of the show adjusting some choices here, now that we got a much bigger body of work, is definitely called for. I think 73 is just about right. I think we found the sweet spot of buffoonish nature for repeat offenders. It definitely is this mid 70s range where if there was a bell curve for buffoonery, like that's the highest point of the bell curve.
But it's on the curves because Al Sharpton sits atop the hill. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, no, he would be on the extreme, right? So there's very few. When we talk about the scale, we have every politician at a 50 to start off with. That's the far end there, and then we have only Al Sharpton at the other end at 100. So it makes sense that those are the two extremes, and 75 seems to be right in the middle of that buffoonery bell curve. We have to note to self: buffoonery bell curve. You gotta make a graphic representation of that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, and then transitioning over to the magnitude of this little tirade he went on. Another one that's like barely consequential as a legislator. We truth be told, we did do a little math on my team over here. I have a whole team working with me. We looked at
yeah, we used to call them the crack staff, but yes.
Yeah. We looked at some of the views of the videos we've played, and this is clearly not scientific, but we had to find some kind of measurement to measure the magnitude of this. And I think the Swalwell videos got around 600,000 views on his personal account, and Cory Booker's on his account got 200,000 and change. So Swalwell got him beat on the magnitude, I guess. So theoretically, he should get a lower score, a lower BAM, right? Here's where I'm throwing a curveball, man. I do believe in comparing all these fools to Al Sharpton and his antics, right? So I'm going to give Cory, and I'm going to explain why in a second, but I'm going to give Cory Booker 3 Giga Sharptons. And here's why. The authoritarian regime talk, the race cards being played, and the hysterical theatrics and tirade that he went on, probably to an empty Senate chamber, that's very Sharpton-esque in my book, to be honest.
I get it. So while Swalwell's impact was greater in reach, Booker's was more akin to Sharpton, and therefore resonates more, regardless of the size of the reach.
Yes, and it has nothing to do with his race, and I wasn't going to point out that you would nominate another person of color, but we'll let all that go.
God damn it. So going with a 3 there. Okay, listen, I was willing to accept a lower score for the BAM, even below Sharpton-esque here.
No, Cory Booker is very Sharpton-esque. His body of work speaks for itself, man.
All right, I will not look a gift horse in the mouth here. Thank you very much. We have laid bare our nominees for Buffoon of the Week. We've scored them, we've measured them, we've weighed them, we've looked at all the angles. And now it's time to present our final arguments to you, our wonderful audience, so that you can vote for this week's Buffoon. Ross gets to go first because he chose to go first earlier on. The floor is yours.
All right, folks. I'm down by 1 point here. I already called my shot. I'm winning this one, and I'm going to win next week too. You got to help me out, people. You came through big time last week for me. So Eric Swalwell, right? From banging Chinese spies to making up Russia collusion hoaxes to lifting weights and posting shirtless pool videos, this guy is clearly your Buffoon of the Week. The Democrats have a man problem. Do not be like the Democrats. Don't be a sissy. Vote for Swalwell, Buffoon of the Week. I yield back the remainder of my time, Mr. Birdelli.
All right. I guess now I'll take my time to present my nominee to you. Folks, Ross Galloway is a cocky duty poopy head, and he showed you just now he cares more about winning than the state of our nation. He cares more about his own personal glory than the science that we're trying to develop here. This public service we're developing for you. He acknowledged that Cory Booker has a greater buffoonish nature. He himself made the case that Cory Booker had a greater buffoonish action magnitude, even though I argued against it. But that's what he wanted to do here. He's essentially acknowledged that Cory Booker is a bigger buffoon, and that what he did this week was the bigger buffoonish action. Don't argue with Ross Galloway. Go along with what he told you. Cory Booker is the quintessential emotional manipulator and attention whore, and he deserves to be buffoon of the week. And there you have it. Folks, the polls are officially open. Tell us who you got for this week's Buffoon of the Week. It's available. The polls are going to be on YouTube, on X, on Getter, and at buffoonoftheweek.com. How'd you like that? I use your own words against you there, buddy.
Bro, that was good. That was good.
Listen, who am I to argue with Ross Galloway?
He don't care about you. All he cares about is winning. Oh, man.